I am in the wrong mode. Let me fix that. That's a little bit better. For some reason, my web page is not coming up. Let's fix that. Just having a day today. Goodness. So, got that. There we go. Awesome. Of course, that's too big. Ah, that's why. What was I doing? Silly me. Okay. Of course, I messed that up now. All right, so I am dropping frames, not happy about it. I also was going to be trying out this view. Awesome. Okay. Gonna go ahead and work with putting together a couple pieces while I'm waiting to see if anybody has any questions. So bear with me with our horrible internet situation right now. Say those that weren't already online have headed home to get online and play games and watch videos. So that's how our world is right now. I'll go ahead and turn me a little bit. There we go. And let's get started. So I do have safe eye covering. I'm teasing mostly. All right. There we go. I should put some trash can over here. So, I am going to be working on putting together parts to install this lovely liquid cooling into a case that just arrived today. That bad boy there. Trying something new with a solid state that lights up even. So I don't know that easy to get into packaging. Let's see. There we go. Always good. Okay, and instructions. And I have looked at those before.
Do you have any more D6s? Like 5 or 3?
They'd be in my bag.
Which bag?
My gaming bag, card bag that's probably out there by the pantry.
Okay.
Okay. I'm waiting to see it too. Yep. Alright. So, inner box. It's a handy part of the instructions. Making sure we've got all the parts that they list there. So, let's see if there we go. All right, so should have lots of stuff. There's all the hardware. Okay, that's some duties. Let's put that back so we don't mess it up. Good plan. Move that a little out of the way. Get that kicked back off. There we go. And of course I'm blocking all my light there. There we go. So. Awesome. So, hardware, we've got a couple lovely things here. So if you haven't put one of these in before, you have an adjustable plate that way. This one is the one I will be using, which, funny story, I say funny. It wasn't funny at the time, but that goes into a different style, or onto a different style motor. Okay, so that part, not a concern. The issue that I've had, I'll share with you here in a second. When I was first getting it set up on my previous build, I went ahead and this needs to attach to the back of the motherboard. So I've got the motherboard and I'm trying as hard as I can to get it to fit in where it needs to go. And it will not fit, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, okay, there's all these extra parts, these adjustable ones and stuff, and I'm like, why can I not get this piece that needs to go on there to fit? And I looked a little bit closer. Each of these ends, this piece can move in and out. So all I needed to do is move it from this outer position to this inner position, and it fit just right. I didn't see any instructions anywhere. I think I ended up watching a video, and the person doing it didn't even say anything. He just, as he's going, he just shoves those into place and moves on. I'm like, really? That's all I had to do. So thought I'd share that with you. That was the most frightening thing ever, thinking that I messed something messed something up or gotten the wrong thing. I'm like, really, this has to fit? And it did. It was awesome. I think the difference between this set and then these, the symmetrical, asymmetrical, which the symmetrical will go with this backing, I believe, were Intel as opposed to AMD mounting. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, these are the pieces. Actually, I don't even know that I'll need this bent one. But this though was just a pain the first time around. Lots of little hardware pieces. I'm not gonna bother checking right now that I have all of them to begin with, because they pay somebody to put them all in here. So Um, if I have any issues as I go, I will contact somebody. But just seeing that I have the 4 thumb screws, for example, I'm pretty confident that everything I need will be there. And we'll find out quite shortly. And there's the thing I was talking about, taking that, sticking it to the back of the motherboard. Yeah, no mention anywhere in any of this that those move. So, probably figure, hey, they'll figure it out. Because they've done it before. Because who would ever do this for a first time? Really nice thing with this specific setup, the pump just has a peel-off piece of plastic to expose the word's not even coming to me. The thermal paste that connects the pump with your processor. So good stuff. More stuff in the box. Move that out of the way. Bring this back. Okay, we have this lovely piece right here, which unfortunately I gotta move all this stuff with it. Okay, so that is the radiator. So those lovely little fins right there are the things that help disperse the heat. To be able to get the heat off of there, there are some fans. Move this a little bit. These are the fans. And some nice connection cable there. Okay, all the pieces out. Remove the box. My box. Okay, so got my fans. Set those up there. Have the radiator. The pump is at the end of these lovely hoses here. And it has the default, the bracket for connecting to Intel. And there's the thermal paste I was talking about. It's right on there. So just pop that off and it's good to go. Attach it right to it. Okay, so I am going to be connecting the fans to the radiator today. That would be until I have somebody let me know that they need some help. That's what I will be focusing on. So let me double check real quick so I'm not missing anybody's stuff. My chat communication is usually really good. Making sure that I get everybody that I need. Okay, I'll reload that up. Okay. Please sign in. Yeah, that would be good. Okay. So Go back to there. Awesome. Awesome. So that is working. What else have we got working? Oh, I know it's not working. Now that's working. So I have a plugin to do closed captionings, but that was kind of funny. So my closed captioned text requires me to click something when I get going to turn it on, but I'm streaming to 4 different platforms, so I don't always remember my Twitch application switch to turn it on. Sorry about that. And we're go. All right. So, as far as putting the fans on the radiator, there's a couple things that have to be taken into account. The case specifically needs to be. You need to figure out where it's going to fit in your case. I've got a ITX case. I've got a tiny case compared to a lot of people's builds right now. So small motherboard, not a whole lot of space for extra fans and stuff. This is pretty much the largest pre-built liquid cooling system that I can fit in there without issues. I've already gone through the process with the same liquid cooler. I'm basically building my wife the same machine that I have. So did the research. I've been running my machine. It's been tested. It works nicely. So what I'm going to do right now is go through those same steps that I've already figured out. Makes it easier. The radiator itself is going to be putting. The one thing that makes me sad is that I can't do it how I want to as far as the liquid exchange. Mine has been working fine though, so I'm good with it. The tubes are going to go up top in my case, so they will go in the top of the case with my pump over on my processor. So knowing that it's going in that direction, it's going to go in the front of my case. So I needed to figure out how I would be working the air through my case and through my radiator. So the way that I went with it was to pull air in from the front of my case and have it go through my radiator. To do that, after doing tons and tons of video research and watching other people freak out and figure out with lots of scientific approaches to things, to be able to have the air flow through, to be able to pull the heat out of the radiator. I could have done it either way. It made more sense to pull the cool air through because my radiator needed to be mounted to the front of the case to be able to put it there. So, as I realize I've rambled enough, I've lost myself even. Anyway, needed to figure out where to put it. It would fit in the front of the case. I was good with that. I needed to figure out if I had to do something weird to put the fans on this side, or if I could put them on the inside and have it work the same. After lots and lots of researching, I found it doesn't matter which side. Push or pull, it's going to do the same thing. Say the GPU airflow is a good question. With the tiny case, I basically just need to push a ton of air through the entire case to be able to take the GPU into account. Any of the decent GPUs have some fan power on them, so as long as I've got a pretty constant airflow blowing straight through my system, say all the way through, it'll be pushing the air from over the GPU right out of the machine. So if I had a bigger case, I'd have, in a way, I'd have more to worry about. With this case specifically, I have. I'll go ahead and pull that over into view so that you can see. I have a tiny the 200 series NZXT. So with this setup, like I said, I'm putting the radiator in front. It comes with 2 fans on it already. These are basically pulling air out. I've got one that's sucking up, so the hot air is going to go straight up at the top, and then I've got one pulling straight out the back. There's venting in the bottom, so it can pull some air up through there. So pulling towards basically this corner of the case. Fans on my radiator are actually going to be blowing in to my case. So with that, the airflow basically comes up and through. With the GPU right here, it would be blowing right up and out of those. So it works pretty well. Yes, the blowhole in the top there. All right. So I'm a fan of this case. One, because the lines are so simple. It's a cute case. That's the main thing. They're sturdy. The cable management is decent. I know it's not the best case ever, but it didn't cost me what the best case ever would also. So okay, so and as far as this nice expensive liquid cooling, 2 issues that I have. One is the aesthetic. With my previous build, I went black and white with everything. So any interior part that I could find with white, if it was worth paying more, I say generally if I didn't have to pay more, I got the white parts. If I did have to pay more, if it was just a tiny bit, I went ahead. So as far as the power supply is underneath everything, and it's blowing air out also. It's the vent I was talking about in the bottom was it's shared with the power supply. So power supply sucks up air and blows it out the back, and then the rest of the machine is getting the rest of the airflow out of the bottom, and it'll go up and out. So what size rad? Oh, the radiator. It's the I don't remember what size that is. It's 240 millimeter. But it's the Corsair, the H100i. Yep. Okay, so as far as putting the fans on there, the tricky part almost initially when I was trying to figure out how I was going to set the airflow up originally on my first one of these builds, realizing that I could put them on the inside of the radiator, inside the machine, and have it blow into the machine, and it would have the same level of benefit pulling air as it would pushing the air through a radiator. So so it was totally fine for me to put these fans inside and have these fans basically suck the air in through past the radiator. So yeah, I don't have that set up. Soon, I need to have that set up. Yep. Yeah, I don't have an easy way to snap a shot of that. But yeah, got a MSI Z390i IXT board, which is what the I is on that. That I'm going to be putting in this one also. Say on that i7 9700, and then 16 gig RAM total. The funny thing is, this build is for my wife. Blue or green? What? I'm curious now. K17. Oh, i7. Yep. But as I said, since I think she stepped out, and I'm sure not watching my stream right now, I went ahead while I was ordering parts for her machine to get set up here. I went ahead and got myself an upgrade. She's going to be getting my 16 gig worth of RAM, and I'm going to be putting 32 in mine. So that's the nice thing of getting set up with these. So as far as the fans, pretty logo is where the air's coming out. The not as pretty with all the extra stuff is where it's coming out. And luckily, it has, as I try and get the light to not jack it up, it has arrows showing airflow right in the plastic there. So they made it really, really easy to know without having to plug anything in what's going on. So okay, I keep leaning. Tweak that a little bit so I'm not falling off. Of course, I do that and I end up off my screen. That's a little better. Okay, so, and I to humor my wife, went ahead and hung that also. Figure, hey, she's going to be streaming more regularly, might as well. So all I have to do is attach these fans in place here to have them set up to be able to suck air through the radiator, which is easy. Have some nice long screws that go through all the way. I'll attach them right to there. As I mentioned with the aesthetic, not just is the entire housing of everything white and look really nice with my black and white setup. These are RGB and they run really nice. They're pretty. So, alrighty. These cables here, there's actually 2 for each of these. As I mentioned, it's RGB, so they've got RGB specific cables and then fan power specific. So one cord to light it, one cord to make sure it's actually going to run. Keep everything cool. Yep. So first time around, totally stressed about how exactly I was gonna make sure. There is a way to put them on the other side of the radiator. However, mounting everything to the inside of the case isn't something that really works that way. Which is why I went ahead and decided to do it this way. I actually watched a couple videos where they measured the difference in airflow and cooling by having it on the outside as opposed to the inside, and there really wasn't any difference. So the whole pushing as opposed to pulling the air, it's going to give the same nice quality cooling. So but yeah, that was a huge concern when I was getting set up initially. There's nominal benefit to putting a radiator like this on the top of the case as opposed to putting it in the front of the case. I don't have a big enough case for it to really to fit there, for one thing, but it's such a minor difference that it wasn't really, again, wasn't a concern for me. Plus, when I'm gaming, it's not for an extended period of time. Even if I've got the heat cranked up and it's doing its job, cooling like crazy, it's not gonna end up working that hard for that long. So yeah, yep. So unfortunately, I went with cute case. So, and yes, Joker, I do know a bit about PC parts. Been around pretty much as long as PCs have, so. Oh. And sadly, this is one of the more tedious parts. Just attaching these screws. So building computers are really not as exciting as a lot of people like to think that it is. It's really awesome. It's satisfying knowing that you took a bunch of parts from a bunch of different boxes and put them together, and with those together they can do pretty much anything you want them to with your software. That part's awesome. Other than that, to me the exciting part is being able to afford parts and be able to click a few times and know that I'm getting some awesome stuff sent to me in boxes. Okay, so how much should I spend? That one's tricky. It's more how much do you have to spend and what your focus is on what you're doing with your computer. So with my machine, I am presently only running 2 monitors. I'd like to have room for more, but I knew I was going to be streaming, so I've got my control monitor, and I've got ultimately my gaming monitor. And yeah, I'll say thank you. Say there's luckily that's one area that I haven't had to research. My wife is awesome. She is way tech savvy. So when it came to this the build that I'm putting together now, she needed to pick out a monitor. So she spent time doing research on that. For me, I'm good with pretty much any monitor. I know that I'm going to have, say, right now I've got two, I'm going to have more. So making sure that I had a video card that would run multiple monitors was a big deal. And I also knew that eventually, when my budget would cooperate, I'd be upgrading my video card. So I wasn't in a big rush to get the best of everything right from the start. So, I do like good things, which I say, as far as having a decent processor and being able to cool it so that you can keep a decent processor. That was a huge deal to me. So that I've made sure to do on each of them, but yeah. Say I also have a 27-inch running just for my gaming stuff. If I had a setup where I could sit back more, bigger screen would be great. 27 with it right there in my face, that's a lot of screen. The TV and not monitor, they've got a lot of TVs right now that are made for gaming. So, having a 55-inch gaming screen basically is becoming more and more common. And I believe, yes, the HDMI 1.2 or better. I believe they're putting out stuff that's 1.3 now. But yeah, for this build, my wife went ahead and got herself a 55-inch. That's why I specifically said that. She's going to be gaming off the wall. So that'll be very nice to to not have to share is kind of the thing. I like sharing, but when there's stuff that I'd like to do and I can't do because she's got stuff she needs to do, it can drive me nuts. Okay. So, noticing that the both of you are on Twitch, if you could take half a second and hit a follow, I would love to make affiliate eventually. I haven't had the opportunity to push a lot of that, so I'm not asking for notifications or anything. Thank you so much, guys. And I for some reason it didn't pop my stuff up. Do I not have stuff turned on? That's horrible. I'm so sad. Here. Let me add something in here. Yeah, I set up these overlays for being in teacher mode basically, and I forgot to put my alerts. That's horrible. I don't know if it'll trigger the second time, but here I'm going to try and set something up so you get your own special celebration here. I'll make it worth your while. Just got to figure out where I put it. Got so many things on here. Holy cow, man. There we go. that would be it. Okay. So, do that, and go ahead and do that. Drop it behind everything. Okay, not everything. There we go. So, now that I've got it, so recognizing the fact that Joker and Slain both followed, this is for them, rainbow mode. And I'll have to set the alerts up later, but okay. Because yeah, unfortunately, to have anything other than the really cheesy default stuff, it takes a little while. So if I'm going to have something, I'm going to make it make it memorable. So yeah, I don't sing in front of people. Which is funny because for years I played a saxophone in front of people. In a ska band, but nice. Yeah, I stressed out a bunch the first time when I was getting this set up because these cables come out on the side, and I wanted to make sure that realize. There we go. So they come out on the side here. I'm like, okay, is it going to be long enough to get where I need it to go if I've got it coming out the side, or do I need it come up the bottom and run it? Realistically, that's the same amount of same length. It's going to have to go over and down anyway. So, but yeah, spent way too much time worrying about that when all I had to do is just put it right side up, drop it off that side. When it's in there, those cables are going to be behind everything. Say this is going to be glass side, so it works out fine, luckily. Okay. Okay, so Slain. Why did I go Intel? Oh, don't do that to me. I generally prefer AMD. The only reason that this build has Intel is because I got a really decent deal on the other one, and I wanted the machines to match. That was pretty much it. So my next pair of builds, I'll probably go ahead and go AMD and rock that too. But figure if things go the way that I'd like them to, eventually I'll be able to set up. I would love to do a couples stream, and I don't build as often as I'd like to. I don't have enough money, or I'd be pumping out computers all the time. But because it could be. Could be a Zen for. But yeah, as far as my streams, once things calm down a little bit and I'm not dropping frames like crazy just to do a stream like this, I will potentially be doing a gaming stream with my wife and having a blast with that. She'll play Dead by Daylight with me and some other stuff. So, yeah, us being able to hop on at the same time and stream. To do the setup I'd like to, having a base machine to be able to do the actual stream itself, and then each of our machines to game off of. That's an excuse to build 3. So I like the idea. I at this point I definitely need to be sponsored to be able to pull that off. But yeah, me being able to put a machine together is not as common as I'd like it to be. That whole teacher thing, I don't have the funds. But yeah, streaming in my spare time, I'd like to think that I'll eventually be able to pick up what I need to. Okay, so that was a fun part. So unfortunately, I don't have all the parts to put in, and the reason I went ahead and was building today anyway is because I knew that I'd have time to do this, possibly put it in the front of the case, and then I'd kind of need to chill anyway until I get some more parts. So I just got these in today. Got more coming tomorrow and the next day. So yep. Let's move some stuff around. Putting it in the case is kind of an interesting thing to do. Let me move that out of the way, because I have to take to be able to get it in there properly, and of course the light's not. That whole black on black stuff inside. There's a nice little mesh filter thing in there, but to be able to get it attached to the front of it, I have to take the whole front off, and it's interesting. So that's the other thing. Since my last build, they actually updated this model of the NTXC case. So it's pretty cool, but I was thrown off when I went to take the glass off, and instead of having 4 thumb screws, 2 top and 2 bottom, it had 1 thumb screw back here, and then I basically had to pull up on that, and it had these little balls that popped out of here, and it's got a couple places that the glass fits into down at the bottom. So yep. Okay. So nice. Yep, I'm glad you haven't asked about graphics card in this yet, because I don't I don't have the money to cover that yet. So my wife's going to be stuck running onboard video for a little while until I get enough to cover that. So, but she will be fine. In fact, I approached my machine similar when I was setting it up. Went ahead and put everything that I had in at the time, which ended up being everything except for the GPU, and actually installed everything without everything else without that graphics card in there. Okay. making sure I'm not going to break anything popping this off of here. Oh yeah, there's another update that I had not seen yet. Double check my other case. Yeah, that's what I thought. So the other one has, my original one has 2 audio plugs, basically in and out, mic and headphone. There's no C on the other one. There's just 2 of the A USB. So. Yeah, I'd say the graphics card thing is something that's kind of frustrating how much they are. And I get it. That's where most of our computing power is going, especially with gaming rigs. And that's basically this rig. When I was originally planning it, I wanted just a machine I could use to get by with. I wasn't looking for like a powerhouse or anything. However, as I was going, I'm like, oh, it's just a couple more dollars to improve this, or a couple more dollars here and there, and eventually, I just I ended up with a pretty sweet little gaming rig, and that wasn't the original plan. I definitely didn't complain. Here, that's for that. Looking for that. There we go. That's quite the view there. Okay, so on their instructions, let's see. So it would really suck to break the front. Okay, so I had mentioned that the fans on the interior was something that I had made a big deal about researching and double checking, so that the idea was to make sure that I'd be able to put the fans on the interior and that it would work fine, because those RGB lights look really sweet from the inside of the case. If I put them on the other side of the radiator with the solid white front, you can't see anything. So there's not enough light coming through these little slots here to make that worthwhile at all. So I figure, hey, I spent way more than I should have when I built my last one. Okay. Radiator support, yep. That's great. How do I pop it off there and not break it? Okay. Yep, I don't look at it either. However, when I was picking out parts to put in there and realized I could get the same stuff with RGB for the same price, I went ahead, and it makes it easier handling the fact that I've got a giant box sitting out in the middle of a room. I say giant box, I'd run in the IXT and they're tiny, but it's still, yeah. It is pleasant, but I also like working with color and stuff, so I've done quite a bit with my display in my room. There we go. So it's all good. That's how it's supposed to happen. And I have the front off. So has that nice mesh there that I was talking about. I'll keep big chunks of cat hair and stuff for those people that need to worry themselves about that. Okay, so that mesh pops off really easy. Got that mounting area. That's nice. So I don't know how you feel about the NZXT cases. I've become quite a fan because they're good looking cases. That's pretty much it. They've got enough built in to hello my hand. They've got decent cable management and everything built in, so when you're looking in the case, you're not seeing a bunch of extra crap. Oh, yeah, it's not magnetic. Which is funny, because I don't get why so many things anymore around computers are magnetic. Say, growing up around computers, magnets are a computer's enemy. They're not usually a friend unless they're inside a drive, and most of the magnetic drives. Okay, there we go. There, get that back in place. So I realize I'm not looking at how I'm pulling it out. Okay, so we've got, I'm going to go ahead and flip this. So this is the top of the case, inside, so front and back of the case. Move the case front. I'll look around, figure out where I put my radiator and fans there. Okay, so it'll go in right like that. And you can't see it black on black, but I have to flip everything around now that I have those cables there. Okay. Pull that back out of the way. And look through my stuff to find my mounting hardware. Say if I was baking something, I'd totally have everything laid out. So while I'm on video, everything goes nice and smooth. Okay, so Hmm. I remember. Where am I? There's my other number. Very nice. Okay. So, got that. Fan screws. Got it. And radiator screws. Attach them as shown. Yep, radiator screws and washers. Okay. Very good. Nice. Yeah, that would have been a much cheaper solution to what I chose to do. But I've always been a little extra, so. Okay. So those set up with the washers. So is it? It's a 280. Yeah, nice. One issue that I had with pricing things for my build is I got really sick of pulling stuff up. Say I would do something like that, but if she's in the mood to be rocking pink out, she can do it with the RGB, which is kind of nice. So. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I even have my power supply is white with white cables, so it's ridiculous. Yes, I know, but as mentioned, I'm extra when it comes to stuff like that. We'll go ahead and hang up the lovely pump off of the table, so that I can easily attach this and not have to worry about that at all. So I say that. The way that they powder coat these ends up filling the screw holes, so it's really hard to get these started. Not initially. Okay, I actually had, I didn't with my build, so I wasn't initially thinking about doing that until I found one that was on sale, and I'm like, awesome, I can save some money and go ahead and give her that little bit of an upgrade. And I didn't get paid until after they were out of them. So I was really not happy with that. But yeah, I'm just solid state. Okay. I realize you can't see me putting these in. Kind of hanging off of both cameras with this. Only way I can do this effectively without breaking hoses off. Yeah, I'd say that would be nice. Now I'm just running standard SATA solid state. Say the way this case works, it's just it goes on the front of the case even. So, but yeah, I seriously want to be able to upgrade to at least some M2 right there. Even though it's a tiny little motherboard, they've got a really nice nice spot for it right under the CPU. But yeah, that'll be another upgrade dependent on funds. Especially now, if I make an upgrade to mine, I'm going to be expected to upgrade hers too. I'm hoping to find myself a couple sponsors that are entertained by me enough that that I can get hooked up with some parts. But no, I wouldn't mind working on some of I'll start rambling again. I would love to build machines on stream all the time. That would be awesome. Try out some different stuff. I would definitely need to be set up with a nice adjustable arm camera too. But okay, I will set you on fire. Knock my SATA. No, yes, it's not the fastest. However, and it's not just SATA, what would that be? Technically SATA 2, 3. But anyway, yeah, making a comparison to floppy is not a good idea. Say you have no idea. Unless you've actually worked with floppies, don't even. You're gonna hurt somebody's feelings with that right there. But it's a lot of fun hardware. Nothing like losing black washers on a black cloth there. Okay, so that's the hard thing, seeing a very generic image there and trying to guess by your username one's experience. I could tell by your questions that you know what you're talking about, but there we go. Get that out of the way. Did I seriously just put away the one that I got out? Oh my gosh, I need to sleep more. So cassette data, as in on what system? TI-99. Okay. So I was gonna say I'm rocking the cassettes with the Trash 80. So funny thing is, this build mimicking a previous build is. These are the first machines that I've actually had to build completely in a long time. I had a couple machines that I was running that I put together from a bunch of spare parts from machines that I got at a job that I'd been working. But I didn't have to order anything or worry about anything working. I basically parted out like 8 machines that were the same and built 3 or 4 out of those. There it is. Yay! Okay. There, now I actually have it back out. Yeah, I've as I throw that teacher thing out again, as a teacher, in the last, was it 6 years ago or so, 5-6 years, I've been issued laptops, and it's been kind of frustrating with a lot of stuff that I do. I've done way more repairs than I even want to think about. But going from a point where, as a computer teacher, in a room full of desktop machines and having having claimed at one point I had 3 machines to myself, so I could use one for rendering video and use another one for I can't remember what all I was doing, but I was rocking my setup that I had, and then they came and they took all those out and they gave me a laptop, a crappy laptop at that. So yeah, not the easiest thing to handle. I'm going to peek at my other machine before I tighten this down. I've got screws in it, but checking my clearance to make sure that that I'm going to be good. And I should be good pretty much all the way to the top, it looks like. Yeah, that should be good all the way to the top. So, very nice. So, while you're repairing computers, have you had someone ask you for help fixing their printer? Trying to think of PET. Pet. Say I'm not picturing that for some reason. But yeah, my least favorite thing about helping people out with computers is when they assume that I can fix their printer because, you know, I'm a computer guy and it's a computer printer. And that yeah. have spent a lot of time trying to explain to people that printers are peripherals. They don't Commodore. Okay, I had to look it up. That is not a machine that I've worked with. Yeah, I can usually figure out what their issues are with their printer, but it's at a certain point when their printer's just dead or the drivers aren't working and it's not really anything that I don't know. I get frustrated when I can't yeah, the internal when they don't realize that their printer was expected to last maybe a year, and like 8 years after purchasing it, they're trying to figure out why it's not working. Okay, so that's the general idea there. With that nice white on the inside, glows up real nice. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. That's so nice. And then when it's in there, it'll drop right there on the motherboard. So until then, kind of camp it out of the way. But yeah, so if you haven't worked with these type of cases, it's so nice. Everything drops in behind this bar here as far as cables, and you just flip it around. Carefully do this to not knock too much stuff around. But here's the back of that bar. Everything just goes right up through there, and has a nice little cable path right here. Got that channel there. Has a spot for 2 additional 2.5-inch drives there, and some more cabling for, actually that's the fan cabling. So once power goes in and everything, those come around up under here. There's a little channel there, even a little gap to be able to sneak those onto the plug them into the motherboard. But it's pretty nice how that's all set up. But yeah, have this nice separation here for where the power supply is going to go. The mesh in the bottom, similar to what I haven't snapped back on to the front that I have, but help keep those bigger dust bunnies out. That way, when you're doing a little bit of a cleanup, you can just pop one of those off, take it out. If you're one that still rocks the air can, you can do that. I've got my compressor out with the air jet nozzle on there. Just blow that out and pop it back on. Good for hopefully another month or so before I have to worry about it. Okay. Pop that back up. See what there we go. So I can snap this back into place. I say that. There we go. There. Okay, so that's nicely on there. And the funny thing to me, that's as far as this setup, because these are pre-installed, all the cables are run back through here in the say back of the case. There's nothing else that really is messed with on the front of it, which my previous building, you know, I'd have optical drives and stuff like crazy in the front. You know, get all my hard drives all stacked up in the front here, and that's not even a thing anymore. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I can go ahead and stick the case front back on, which just snaps into place there. It's just a nice, sleek looking machine case here. I like it. Okay, so really messed up thing is that's actually all the parts that I have right now to put on. So, leaf blower. Ah, to blow the air out. That would work. I'm picturing some of the I ran landscape maintenance for a while, and picturing some of the crazy and industrial, you know, giant backpack leaf blower things that we had. yanking the cord on that, get that gas powered thing going, and you know, but blow all the leaves off of a hedge with the thing so strong. It's big clouds of smoke as you're doing it from your back too. But just imagine that just to blow off these little filters is awesome. So thank you for that. I needed that. Okay. Well, I have hit my time limit for my building for now. If I can get away with it, I will hop on later to do some gameplay. I need to take a break and eat something so I don't die. That's crazy body things that we have. I'm going to go ahead and give you another bit of rainbow mode here. Awesome. Thank you again for joining me. Say, have a good one, and join me anytime. It was fun. Say, most of the time I'm going to be helping students out on my my office hours, but yeah, definitely. Say, I got to do something while I wait for them to ask me questions. So this week it was putting together some parts. I'm sure I'll be doing that as I get more parts in Friday. But take care.